Investing in you will always be the best return, no matter what it is, in terms of return on investment, ROI. Hi, this is Coach Joe Lukacs, and welcome to the Magellan Network Show. My goal inside of this communication, this show, is to share with you my nearly 30 years of coaching some of the most successful financial advisors in North America. We're going to be talking about strategies, syntaxes. We're going to bring guests on from time to time, and I'm going to share with you what's working now. So think of this show as sort of like a little one-on-one kind of mini coaching cast, if you like, where we're going to be going in depth from time to time on strategies to help you grow your business, get more effective, become more efficient, find balance in your time management, grow your business, and quite frankly, whatever else is going on in the world today. So before we get to today's episode, I'd love for you to do a couple things for me. Number one, make sure that if you're watching this on YouTube, that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're doing the audio, make sure that you give us a review on whether it's Spotify or Apple. We'd really appreciate that. And quite frankly, that does help. It does matter when you rate things and like things and subscribe to things. It helps us get the word out to more of the industry. And lastly, I have a very special gift for you. Go to MagellanNetwork.net, so one word, MagellanNetwork.net, and I have for you a complimentary membership, 100% gratis, where you can tap into about between 50 and 75 hours of masterclasses, forms, tools, templates, and strategies. So please go ahead and make sure you go ahead and get that claimed. Smash the like button and subscribe. And please go ahead and leave us a review on whatever podcasting platform you're on. And now, let's get to this week's episode. Hi, it's your coach, Joe Lukacs, and welcome to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. And in this episode, we're going to talk about personal and professional development budgets and game plans and why they're critical for not just an advisor, but for their entire team/staff. Welcome to our continuation of our series, How to Have a Great 2024. Before we unpack our topic for this week, I want to just take a moment to say thank you very much to all of you who reached out, whether it was on YouTube or LinkedIn or just messaged me personally and to thank me or to wish me happy 30th anniversary being a coach last week. It meant a lot to me. We didn't do a lot because I like to focus on the work. My clients are the stars, not me. But I just want to acknowledge those who took the time. That I really, really appreciated it, and it really, really moved me, some of the comments that were made. So one of the strategies that in my mind is immutable to being successful as an advisor is that you must constantly be reinvesting back into yourself. Now, why is that? Why is that not just important, but immutable? Because ultimately, you are the product. There's an old saying, people buy you first, and then they buy what you're selling. Now, that's a little antiquated, obviously, but there's still a lot of truth in that. See, a lot of times, this industry gets you sucked up into the intellectual educational concept, okay? Let's go get another designation. Let's go get another certificate. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that's bad, okay? I think getting a CFP, AIF, CHFC, CDFA, I got clients that have them all, right? So I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, don't do those are bad. They're not. But don't get seduced into the concept that, the more intellectual capital I get, i.e. the smarter I become, that automatically that will make me more successful. Because if that were true, let's just say that was the immutable law, which is the more educated you were, the more designation you have, the more money you make. Then this game would be a very simple game. Go get an MBA, Go get your CFP, probably go get a CFA, right? Let's get super smart. Because when you're super smart, you're going to super economically successful. Haven't seen it. And I've been doing this for 30 years. Okay? So I believe intellectual education is a part of a bigger recipe. Part of a bigger recipe. I believe that we're in the people business, right? Because think about it. And some of you may know people like this, that you know in this industry, in this profession, right? That are brilliant, they're gifted, they're beautiful, they're excellent planners, asset allocators, whatever. But they struggle in their own businesses. They struggle to be successful. They struggle to grow their economics. Like, how can that be? Well, the reality is that because it's the ultimate it's the ultimate people business, that's also the ultimate personal development business. See, the trick, if we're going to use that term for a second, if you want to elevate your income, you've got to become a better version of you. Period, end of story. You need more capabilities, more competencies. You need to value intellectual capital, yes. But you also have to value your emotional capital. So what's emotional? What's the difference between intellectual and emotional capital? So intellectual capital is certificates, designations. You're smart. You can critically think, solve problems. Emotional capital is controlling yourself and influencing others. So leading yourself and leading others, to keep it very simple. So what I've come up with in my career is like a little formula, some guidelines, right, on how to pull this off. And by the way, it works. I don't care if you're 1 year in the business or you're 50 years in the business. It works no matter what, right? So let me give you the rule set first and then how we're going to fill it in. So here's the rule set. If you were to take your top line revenue, so if you're a wirehouse production, top line production, right, not the grid, top line production, if you're at an RAA, top line, right? If you were to commit between 5 and 10% of that top line, I'll let you, again, somewhere in that range, and you would just make that a budget every year for you. And it was there to develop yourself personally and professionally. So it became your personal and professional development budget. Like it had to be, quote unquote, spent every year, okay? So if you're a $250,000 top line advisor, right? Well, we know 10% of that is $25,000, and we know 5% is $12,500, right? And if we know a $500,000 advisor is $50,000 to $25,000, $1 million is obviously it's anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000. Okay, that's the rule. Now, when I just said that, some of you went, "Holy crap, Joe, that's a lot of money." Is it? See, here's what I find interesting. I'll see advisors, and we're not going to get into a lot of stories here today, but I could. I've seen advisors that, don't have a ton of capital. And I never forget that. I had one conversation I was probably about 10 years ago. And he goes, "Hey, I want to let you know, I'm either going to hire a coach or I'm going to go do dinner seminars. Like, I can't afford to do both." Now, you know what I thought, right? Like, "Hey, man, how do you feel about public speaking?" "Well, I haven't really done it." I said, "So let me get this right. You're going to go take a flyer on $10,000 to $15,000 on a seminar series, not really clear on what you're doing and why you're doing it, right?" And so make a long story short, I did not persuade him. He went and did dinner seminars. You know what he's doing today? Selling cell phones. Why? It wasn't the game. See, this is about you. This may be a hard conversation for somebody to hear, but I'm here to tell you what I think is the truth and what I know to be true. This is not about your financial planning process or your wheel or your wealth wheel or here's our flow, how we work with clients. It's not about that. It's about you. Period. The other stuff doesn't, they don't buy you. The other stuff doesn't matter. See, you can have this beautiful website, and look, I'm all for branding, so I'm be on record. Beautiful website, social media, like crush, like everything's good, right? Everything's really, really good. Got some video on there. But man, if you're not where you need to be as a person, as a professional, it doesn't matter what's there. Hi, Coach Joe Lukacs here, and I'm just breaking here for a moment just to do a couple quick reminders. Number one, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel or our podcast. In addition, please leave a comment or a review. Those things really, really matter. And share this episode with 3 of your colleagues inside the financial services space. And lastly, make sure that you go ahead and claim your free membership inside of Magellan Network. Now back to this week's episode. Right? That's like, oh, and I'll give you a frame of reference I think you all get. A new restaurant opens up in town. It's beautiful. Look at the signage. Look at the canopy. Oh man, look at how beautiful it is inside. And you go in there, food sucks. Well, that's what it's like being an advisor who's got a killer website, but they're not clear on what they're doing. Looks good. Meal stinks. Why? Because they invested in all the trimming. They didn't go get the right chef. That's what happens. So in this game, taking 5 or 10% every year. And as you grow, you don't change it, right? So think about this. When you're starting out, again, 5, 10%, I'll keep it on the low side. So $250,000, right? So $12,500. You can get into a coaching program. In fact, our program is under $4,000. You get to $500,000, right? Let's say 50 grand. You can do some damage with that. Best trainings, best conferences, hire a great coach. And by the way, when I say personal and professionally, fitness, personal trainer, nutritionist, masseuse, like put the team, even athletes in an individual sport like golf or tennis, there's a team around them. You think Royal McIlroy, Tiger Woods, Roger Federer, all these people, you think they just drive themselves up there and then they do their thing? There's nutritionists, sports psychologists, masseuses, stretching coaches, strength coaches, all that stuff around them. Well, who's around you? Who's there to make sure that you're great? That's what our personal and professional development does. So it's not just about, let's get some more training, let's get some more designation. Hey, for some of you, quite frankly, you know what you need to do? You need to get your ass in shape, period, right? And I'll share a quick story. I worked with a client years ago, retired. And I remember because I saw him at a wire. It was when I was really doing wirehouses about 15 years ago. And he came up to me. I was hired by the firm to do a series of stuff. It went really, really well. And he talks to me. I said, look, man, I love to work with you. But one of the things we're going to talk about is you. Because, man, I want you here for another 20, 30 years. And right now, I don't know about that. And I'm just being blunt because that's how I am. And we worked together. And I made him do fitness goals. Not that I'm a fitness coach. I'm not. But I made him go get a personal trainer. I made him go get a nutritionist. I made him go to a doctor. Guy lost 50 pounds, doubled his business. Lost 50 pounds and doubled his business in 3 years. Why? Because he became the best version of him. Period. As your career, so if somebody says, well, Joe, if I'm doing if I got $2 million top line, I should have like a 6-figure personal development budget? Yeah, I do. My personal development budget is 6 figures. Hire the best coaches, go to the best masterminds, get the best experts, access to the best medical experts, the best physical therapy, the best nutrition, like everything, right? Top line stuff that people, hire people that professional athletes use. That's what a budget allows you to do. By the way, investing in you will always be the best return no matter what it is in terms of return on investment, ROI. You go to a let's say, and I'll give you like a real life example. So, and it's going to sound self-serving, but it doesn't matter. So you come join us in Magellan Network for a year. Cost you about $4,000. Investment about $4,000. You'll learn how to rock out your mornings. You'll learn referrals. You'll learn how to really influence people. You get your stuff together. You have it for the rest of your life. Let's say you bring in an extra $10 million a year because of strategies. Extra $100K every year. Return on investment. I'll take another way. I'll talk the scenario I just gave. The guy lost 50 pounds, doubled the business. So let's just say that that cost him, or he had to invest between personal trainer, nutritionist, everything else, $25,000 for the year. Gym, everything, right? $25K, $2,000 a month. But took his business from $600,000 to $1.2 million in 3 years. What was that return on investment? See, a lot of you guys and gals are out there looking for, oh man, I need marketing help. I got to get my social media game going. Yeah, that may be true. But then make no mistake, that will not fix your game. It just won't. It may make it a little bit better. You'll get a return on investment. Well, it's not a bad idea, but it's not the best idea. Now, for those of you who lead, who have teams, same concept. I would take 5% of their comp. Say, okay, I'm paying this person $100,000. That's their total. That's their all-in comp. $5,000, 5%. They have to develop themselves. On our approval, we'll pay for it, subject to approval. What do they need? Gym membership. They want to go to a training conference. They want to get a designation. What do they want? 5%. Team. Remember, the more you develop your people, the better your business is, because your business is a collection of people. It shocks me how many advisors never think about this. They just think that their people should somehow innately or automatically know what to do and figure it out on their own. That's not leadership. That's abdication. So before we bounce out here, let's recap. Rule number 1, 5 to 10% of your personal top line, reinvest it back into you. Why? It'll give you the best return on investment. Number 2, your people, 5% of their comp budget, right? Again, you approve it. How do they add more? How do they become more valuable to you in your organization, your business? What do you put in the 5 to 10% for yourself? I mean, I've had people put golf lessons. Look, this is not like what's deductible here. It's whatever you think will make you better. So if you go play golf and that's your jam, and because you go on the golf course and you get business there, hey, I want to shank it all over the place. I want to get some golf lessons. Fine, put it in I don't care. Well, Joe, how about a masseuse? Hey, fine, I don't care. I mean, all my docs are my PD buddy, because I do clinical concierge medicine, stuff that they're not, my insurance company will not pay for. That's part of our personal development budget. That's why it makes me better, because my health and my energy, it's a big part of what I do here, right? So yeah, it falls on my PD budget. How about travel, Joe? Yeah, sure, knock it in there. I don't care. Then you better be closer to 10%. You are your best investment. I'll say it one more time. You are your best investment. And if you don't think you are, then why are you here? All right? So, 2 things real quick. Smash like on this video if this sounds valuable. Make sure you subscribe. Share it with a friend that you care about in the industry. And remember, MagellanNetwork.net. That's where you can find me. We can find all of our tools, everything. Okay? Thanks for watching or listening to this episode of Magellan Network Show. And I'll see you all again next week. Thank you for watching or listening to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Hey, if any of this resonated with you, I invite you to come to MagellanNetwork.net, and we have a powerful group coaching community of like-minded advisors. Come in for a trial. You and I will have a one-on-one conversation. Let's see if I can help elevate your game, both personally and professionally.